I'd like to give a little bit of an overview when we're describing or analyzing the approach of overcoming bad karma. Is first to understand what are the kinds of karma that we face. So as per the Vedic wisdom, there are three kinds of karmas that we all are subjected to. One is what is called Sanchita karma. The second is Prarabdha karma. And the third is Agami karma or Kriyamana karma. Now let me explain with an everyday example. Sanchita karma is like your savings bank amount in the savings bank. It's there. It's all that you've accumulated and you are saving it. The karmas that have been accumulated over several lifetimes are the Sanchita karma. The Prarabdha karma is the amount that you've withdrawn from your savings bank account for utilizing in the present for the present day requirements. Similarly, Prarabdha karma are the quantum of karmas that we have taken over for experiencing both good and bad in this particular lifetime. And the Agami karmas or the Kriyamana karmas are similar to what we do with the kind of money which we have withdrawn. Do we invest it in some particular form of investment so that we can get positive returns, or we spend it out? If we invest and get positive returns, that get again added to the savings account. And if we spend it out and we create a debit balance, then that also gets added to the Prarabdha or the savings bank account as greater liability to be discharged. So this is the larger cycle of the kinds of karmas that each one of us face. Now coming to overcoming bad karmas. First, we need to understand that Prarabdha karma or the karmas that we've taken up in this particular lifetime, all of these karmas are like seeds, as they say. So as it is said, as you sow, so shall you reap. So karma is typically compared with seeds, and the seed which has already been germinated cannot be transformed back into the seed stage. So the Prarabdha karma are the karmas that have already come into action in this particular life. Our physical form, our intelligence, our limitations, our wealth, our approaches to life, several things that we've been endowed with when we are born is typically the kind of germination of the seed that has already been taken place by and large. It cannot be undone. You cannot undo certain kinds of limitations that you have, and there are certain kinds of advantages which are very natural to you. So that is what has come with you. So what is already germinated cannot be undone. But having said that, whatever is not yet germinated, that is the that is the Sanchita karma, the savings bank account, which has not yet been invested, so that investment goes good or bad. Swami has given a very nice example. If seeds are sown in the soil and before they germinate, if you put lot more sand on top of that, then that seed will never germinate. So you have to dig the seed deeper and deeper into the soil so that it doesn't get an opportunity to germinate. So in order to ensure that the karmas that have already been sown do not germinate, we have to counter that with a lot of good karmas. Now, good karmas can be of two types. One is good karmas where we anticipate output, reaction, which is 99% of the people are like that. We do good with some expectations. While we talk about selfless karma and selflessness, most of our karmas are not. So what happens, at least even with a little bit of desire, if they are done, they are like a golden link that's binding you, because even that good karma will have to be faced and life continues. So that's a golden link which binds you. But hopefully that golden link creates a positive ecosystem wherein you move to the next level, which is the case with most of us who are blessed by God's grace, wherein we are inspired to do karma with selfless approach. We do not expect any returns for whatever we do. Then karma becomes karma yoga, where all that you do does not stick to you because you are doing it with a sense of selflessness. You're doing it with a sense of not being associated with the action, and you're doing it for a higher purpose. Do everything to make Swami happy. Then you are not attached to the result. Why am I talking about attachment to the result? Because it is the attachment to the result, both positive and negative, that continues this cycle of building good and bad karmas. And I'll conclude with connecting this with the larger cosmic example, and this is what Swami had given as an arithmetical formula. God plus desire equals to man. This is what the Ekoham Bahusyam Vedic dictum means. I am one, let me become many. Let me become many is a desire which that supreme non-dual principle had, which has led to this multiplicity. So what is the culmination of going back? It's the same arithmetic formula. Man minus desire equal to God. So the moment desire is removed from human beings as an individual identity, you automatically go back to the original non-dual state. And that is why Swami used to say, Mohakshayam is moksham. Removing of desire is moksham. When you sow rice into the soil, if you remove the husk and sow, that rice will not germinate. If you sow the rice with the husk, that rice will germinate. Husks are the desires. If you remove the desires or indulge in desireless actions, punarjanmana vidyate. There is no need for you to be born again because there is no desire left in you to experience the good or bad associated with